straight talk with your host Reggie B. Come on, let's all join in. Free your voice, it's your choice, alright here. Ooh, simply straight talk.
All rise. The 2nd Division of Magistrates Court of the 8th Judicial District is now in session. The Honorable Judge Davis presiding.
Thank you, Bailiff.
Court is now in order. First case, James Baker versus Angelique Doreen and Melissa Jazara. Will the counsel or the defendants and plaintiffs approach the bench at this time? Will the defendant state your name for the court?
Well, you want to go first since you are the reason we here?
Listen, don't think I want to shut this place down right now.
Ladies, I will not tolerate any quarreling or disturbances in my courtroom. Now state your names as you were instructed by the bailiff.
My name is Melissa Jacira.
And I am Angelique Doreen.
Thank you. James Baker, are you present? If so, approach the bench at this time.
He is not checked in, Judge.
Thank you, Bailiff. Mrs. Jacira and Mrs. Doreen, it appears the defendant has failed to appear for this hearing. It's my understanding the defendant felt threatened based on an altercation that occurred on a public street outside of a local bar. Was this the result of alcohol or some form of domestic dispute? Also, I would like to know if there is any romantic involvement between any parties involved.
Well, since I'm being accused of everything, I will answer your question.
Ain't nobody accusing you of nothing. It's facts.
That's enough. If I have to address the two of you again about your behavior, I will hold you in contempt of court. Am I clear?
Psst, whatever. Anyway, I approached my ex regarding some personal matters, and that James person began making sarcastic comments. My attention was focused on my ex, and yes, I told him to shut up, and yes, I wanted to punch him in the mouth and stomp him out.
We were not drinking. James and her ex were walking out to the bar, so they were probably drinking. And then I tried to get her to leave because James was trying to provoke the both of us. There was no romantic involvement at all on my part.
So the two of you are friends? If so, I can't tell based on your behavior in this courtroom today.
We are no longer friends. The only reason we are standing here together is basically because we have no choice.
I couldn't have said it any better myself. We are no longer friends, and I have no interest in trying to change that at all.
Since the plaintiff is not here, I'm going to dismiss this case. But I am going to state for the records that the two of you should refrain from any future interactions with that individual and try to resolve any personal issues you have with each other and your relationships.
I don't have any personal issues I need to resolve, unlike other people in here.
I'm sorry, was that supposed to be an under-the-table comment about me? Do you need gas money home?
Oh, I have money. Maybe I'll buy you an attitude adjustment.
That's it. I hereby find both of you in contempt of court, and you are both mandated to complete 40 hours of anger management combined with social interaction therapy that must be completed within 6 months. This case is dismissed. Have a good day. Next case.
Ladies, if you will follow me. You may exit this way, please. Use the door directly across the hall, and you will find yourselves back in the visitors' parking area. Have a good day.
What the hell? What is this? Why am I having to participate in some stupid counseling crap?
So, was this part of the big plan? I do not have time for this. I have a business to run. Now I have to waste time doing something I absolutely don't have time for.
Oh, look, go do whatever you have to do. The last thing I want is for anybody to see me with you and get the wrong idea.
Trust me, I feel the same, and this is not the end of this at all.
Well, look at this. The thirsty bougie twins still fighting over me. Look, lonely wannabes, there's enough of me to go around. From what I hear, the two of you on bad terms.
Oh, you're such a piece of shit.
Were you too scared to face us in court?
Why would I waste my time on that? I proved my point. You chicks can't get with me. So, you better get with the program.
Oh, you know what? My black ass is going to jail today.
Little girl, you ain't gonna do nothing. Go play somewhere. I will drop you.
Oh, hell no. You're not dropping nobody. Put your hands on her and see what happens. As a matter of fact, leave now. We'll all be some jailbirds in this camp today.
Whatever. I ain't got time for this. Later, bougie twins.
Welcome to another episode of the Simply Straight Talk Show with your host, Reggie Maddox. And today, we got some real talk on this thing called life just for you. Y'all know what we about to do. Let's start the show.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Simply Straight Talk Show. And today we're going to talk about pillow talk. Should you share? Or is it confidential? Is it a secret? What you say at night when you lay down in bed after a day, been with your friends, been with your coworkers, and you come home, you lay in that bed, you look at your lover looks at you. We ain't going to that part, but what we are going to go to is when the two people, when you have that conversation at night, you're just having that casual conversation, that pillow talk conversation about some of the people you hang out with, some of the guys, some of the girls, things that happen at work. And what if you two share some common friends? You two share people that you both know. But now when you're in the comfort and quietness of your bed, you laying on the pillow, you're having this conversation, and you start dropping names and you're dropping things you've heard and seen and know about your friends. Is that confidential discussion between you two, or is that something that's open for share? Because a lot of times we find out that a lot of times when people engage in pillow talk really don't have no rules. It's just like, we were just laying there and we were just talking. But what if the conversation gets back that something you told your wife, your girlfriend, and they go back and tell that person's mate, that person's friend, and it gets back to them. Now we're in drama central, because now what you said, not only is it causing problems between your friendship, but it can also cause problems between you and your mate, because it will make you question, this is the person that I'm supposed to be able to talk to and reveal and share to and trust that this information stays between us. But what happens when that information gets out? Do you no longer trust your mate? Do you feel like your mate maybe broke some type of secret, unspoken rule about pillow talk? Because couples do it. Men, women, everybody does it. You're laying in bed, you're right next to the person you love, and you just start talking because you want to share something, and that's the person you want to share it with. But when that person goes back and drops that dime, it may be unintentional. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe they feel like what you told them, that other person needs to know. So they want to be the one to kind of share it. So how do you deal with that? Do maybe you start to restrict some of the things that you say to your mate? Maybe you kind of hold back a little bit. Maybe you start using hypothetical situations. How do you deal with that? But first, I got to know, do you set rules? Because I was in a situation like that one time. Now, this was back in, probably 1993. I was dating this girl. Now, there were some code violations on both sides. Let me just say that. But anyway, we were sort of talking. But anyway, conversation came up. She said something. I said something. And it got back to the other couple. When it got back to the other couple, I was the one that was attacked. Now, granted, hindsight, looking back, I was like, dang, you know what? I probably shouldn't have even commented or offered my opinion or thought or anything like that. But the fact was, her friend was engaged to somebody in another state. Now, my friend, my buddy, he was dating her. So when she told me that, I was kind of like, you know what? That's not right, because she's engaged to somebody, but she dated my homeboy, making him think that she about to, let him put a ring on her finger. Is she playing games? Is she doing this? But as it went, conversation took off. Now I was trying to figure out how can I drop this on my homeboy, because I know how he was when he. Now this is another situation that kind of comes into play too. When he is into a woman, he's into a woman. There is no telling him wrong. Like he don't realize it until the bomb has blowed up. And he will stick up for her no matter what. And that is the problem. Now, he didn't get violent. He would just cut you off. Like, oh, man, you trying to break us up, da-da-da-da-da. He cutting you off. That's the type of dude he was. And he was in love. And I knew this. And I knew that if I just came in straight out and told him, he was not going to believe me. As a matter of fact, he'd have been like, man, this friendship over. Now, she went back and told her homegirl that I said it was wrong. That's what she did. That is wrong what she was doing and that she was playing him. Her homegirl told my friend that I said I was playing him. That I said she was playing him. Now, that was a big mistake on her part. Because if she was smart, I don't know if she tried to beat it to the punch or thought I was going to do all type of stuff. I don't know what she thought. But I did, once he came at me, I was like, look, bro, your girl living foul. She engaged to somebody else. So I don't know. You need to find out if she done broke up with this dude. Is that over? Or if you're just something to occupy the moment. Needless to say, our friendship was done. We were not friends anymore after that. So it just goes to show. Pillow talk can backfire like a mother. But you got to remind yourselves, do you have rules when you engage in pillow talk? When you and your sweetie or your honey, whatever y'all call each other, when y'all lay down at night, y'all put your heads on that pillow, do y'all have an understanding that when you two have a conversation and you're talking about people, other people, and you're sort of exchanging information, maybe you're getting a little laugh about it. Maybe you're kind of disappointed in them. Whatever your thoughts are about their situation. Do you have a rule in effect that you two have a clear understanding that you do not go back and tell your friend or whoever what you two discussed? Because some people can't hold water. Now, they may not go back and tell that friend. They may go tell a friend of a friend of the friend, just trying to see if they can make sure that information get back to that person. So they called me you'd be like, hey, babe, I thought you said we weren't going to tell nobody. I thought that was between us. I didn't tell her. But me and such talked, and they kind of knew already. See, that's kind of going around the bubble. You know what I'm saying? So how do you handle that? Do you have a rule to where the two of you have a clear understanding that you do not discuss outside of pillow talk? Or have you been in a situation like when I told you that I was in, where you have that talk and then all of a sudden you start to feel like, I cannot tell her anything. I can't. And which creates additional problems because now that person begins to feel like, we used to lay down in bed and talk. You would share things with me. But now you don't really share like that. You kind of have general conversations. When I ask you about your friend, you don't say nothing. When I ask you about this, you don't really comment. You just kind of agree just to keep the conversation going. But you acknowledge me, but you're not really a part of the conversation. Could it be that person feels like in that aspect of the relationship, they can't trust you because they know you will go back and say something? See, that's one of the key things about a relationship is having somebody that you can confide in, and no matter what you tell them, they know that you have a vault, and that information that you two share with each other stays in that vault. It stays in that vault. But when you open that vault up and let other people in, that other person seeing as they can't trust you with information. They can't trust you to have those conversations. So they may have those conversations with somebody else. You may get jealous about the fact that they are having these conversations with somebody else, But maybe that person has a vault that they just don't open up like that. So you got to think about stuff like that when you're having those pillow talks, or even when you're having conversations in general as a couple and you're exchanging information about other people. You got to be mindful of what you share. Now, I know a lot of people are really into reality TV these days, and reality TV seems to have this thing to where, which is really to create drama, but a lot of people like to adopt these reality TV's concepts and ideas for how they entertain as a real life way of being able to actively have, engage in their little group friends. So they'll go on a little trip, or they'll go out to little outings, and they'll play these little games where you're disclosing personal information, you're discussing personal information in front of each other. But here's the issue. When you start discussing your personal relationship in front of other people, you start asking each other personal questions, and you know that your little circle may be having conversations. The problem is when that information gets back to you, and you're sitting at a table, and you know that other people are aware of what's going on in your relationship. How do you feel about that? How does that make you feel? Knowing that the possibility that they may be judging you. They may be looking down on you. Something private and personal that you're dealing with in your relationship is now the main focus of the dinner table. How do you deal with that? A lot of people find it very difficult. A lot of people don't like it, and sometimes it ends friendships. So that's why I say when you're disclosing all this information and you're sharing it with other people, have you considered the consequences of what happens if it gets back? Now, sometimes I do believe this. I do believe that sometimes there are some things that you need to speak out on. You do. If that person is being hurt, if that person is being harmed, you need to speak out on it. But a lot of times, everybody wants to be that, not everybody, but a lot of people want to be the person that everybody likes. So whatever information they have to share, that they have knowledge of, if they can share it and feel like I'm in the graces of somebody else, they're going to put it out there. They're going to put it out there like a hot apple pie, fresh out the oven. They're going to put it out there. So you got to be mindful about the things you share. You got to be mindful about the conversations you have. And you got to set boundaries in the communication aspect of your relationship. Because if you don't, there's going to be a problem to where many people are going to actually start to see your relationship, and they're going to actually start to look at it as drama central. You don't want to be known as the person that shares everything, tells everybody business. You don't want to be the person that when everybody gets together and they start talking about why this came up, how this came up, how you know this, why you know this, and everybody pointing their fingers at you. You said it, she said it, he said it. See, that's not a good thing. But some people seem to feel like it's a necessity for having friends to be that person. It's a necessity. But is it really? So that's why I say when you have your pillow talk at night, you're trying to keep the confidence of your mate. You're trying to make sure that your mate feel confident in telling you things. And when a couple gets to the point to where they feel like one person feel like they can't really share information, it's going to shut down a lot of conversation. Because then they're going to start to question, what else are you out here telling? If you're telling everybody what me and you talk about in private, what are you telling people about our sex life? What are you telling people when we have an argument? What are you telling people when we get into a little spat? What are you telling people about my family? What are you telling people? They're going to start to wonder, what are you putting out there? Because now they're concerned about what is their reflection? What is the reflection that other people see of them when they're in the group setting? And that's the worst thing, because let me tell you something. And a lot of people say, let me tell you something. Men are just as good as being able to detect when they walk in a room that crap is not right. They know. So it's not just women, it's men and women. Most people can tell when they walk in a room when they meet a person, shake hands with a person, or have a conversation with a person, that something has been said about them and it's floating around that room. It's in the air. It's in the air. Everybody can't hide their feelings or emotions well. You can engage with a person and be able to tell how that person is perceiving you. So that's why I say you got to be mindful about pillow talk. Because when pillow talk goes wrong, it can go wrong real bad. Real bad. All right, y'all, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with more of the Simply Straight Talk Show.
We'll be back with your host, Reggie, on Simply Straight Talk.
RM Viaging is a company based on life's journey and sharing life lessons with the world in the form of laughter and reflection, inspiring people to go after their dreams and not giving up on life. RM Viaging creates inspirational music and motivational speeches designed to motivate all age groups. Visit our website at www.rmviaging.com to hear samples of our music. You will also find motivational articles on our blog page titled New Life, New Mind Blog. We also have a weekly podcast hosted by Reggie called Simply Straight Talk, all on our website at www.rmviaging.com.
We hope you're enjoying the show. As our listeners, this show is made possible because of your support. Make sure you click the subscribe button and leave a comment. Thank you for being a part of the show, and now back to your host, Reggie Maddox.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the second half of today's show. Man, today we're talking about pillow talk gone wrong. Those conversations you have late night with your boo, your bae, your honey, your man, your woman, and then all of a sudden you find yourself in a drama circle. You feel like you're in a version of Trapped in the Closet because stuff is coming back to you, and it ain't always good. Listen, I truly believe that when a couple gets together, you gotta have that confidence in your mate that you know that when you tell them something, that there's an understanding that this is between us. Or, hey, this is for general conversation. But a lot of people get in relationships and they may disclose information too soon because they haven't really had a chance to build up that bond, that connection. They haven't had a chance to really assess each other's friends. And I think that's something that couples really need to do, because you can be in a relationship and your mate, your spouse, whatever you call your partner, you can be in a relationship with somebody and you absolutely can't stand their friends. You cannot. It may be one, it may be two, it may be multiple, but you can't stand them, but you tolerate them because of the person that you're with. And most people will probably try to say, you know what, you're going to hang with them? Okay, I'm going to go do this. They try to not be close to them. They try to not be near them. They really just try to avoid them altogether. And when they say, hey, you know, we all going to hang out together, you feel like you just rather run and just jump into a shooting range. You'd rather just be the target at a shooting range than actually sit there and engage in any type of activity with these people. Because this is all the part of the problem of not actually understanding the relationship that your mate has with their friends. Because, of course, your mate is going to have friends. Your partner is going to have friends. But the thing about it is, what is the level of that friendship that they have with that person? Now, I'm not talking about sexually or romantically, but some people, just like they might be in a relationship with somebody, they may have a friend to where they tell this friend everything. They tell them everything. But if you don't know that, you know, your wife or your mate can put that on lock, then you run into a problem, because they may have a friend that tells everything. They can't keep their mouth shut. As soon as the water hit their cup, they already drinking and they're spitting it out somewhere else. So you got to be mindful about that. Relationships are already delicate. They are very delicate. So you have to have a person to where you can trust in how you communicate and what you communicate. Now, for me, when somebody tells me something, like if you're my friend, you're my right, and y'all know, y'all listen to the show, y'all know, a lot of people say anybody they meet is a friend, anybody work with a friend. No. For me to call you a friend, that's a very tight bubble that I let anybody in. And right now it's only one. So, but the thing about it is, when you have a friend, you got to have that trust that when they say something to you, that you know that that information is not going to get shared, is not going to get passed on. As a matter of fact, like if I'm your friend, you know what I'm saying? Like if I got a female friend and somebody comes up and they bad-mouthing her or they're trying to get information about her, you're approaching the wrong person. It ain't happening. My homeboy, if I got a homeboy as a friend, you are not getting information from me. You can sit there and pick and ask roundabout questions all the way. You're not going to get information from me. At the most, I will say, you know what? I don't know the answer to that, but you know what? I can go let them know that you kind of want to know that. Maybe you two can get together, because I really can't stand when people try to sidetrack to get information about other people. People will do that to your relationship. They will use other people to see what they know to get information about your mate or about you. So that's why you have to be careful about what you disclose. You have to be careful about your relationship, what you communicate outside of your relationship. Now, I'm not saying that you should be totally shut down if you need somebody to open up to, because sometimes there are things that's going to happen between you and your mate, but you're gonna want some outside advice. It's human. It's natural. What I'm asking you to do is be careful about who you get that advice from. The worst thing you can do is get that advice from somebody else who goes and tells somebody else that you came to them about that advice, and it gets back to your mate. Now, that one simple problem that could have probably just been avoided has now become a hurricane, and your house is about to implode. That means it's about to explode from the inside out, and there is no stopping it. So that's why I say you got to be really careful about how you relay information. You got to be careful about your pillow talk. You know, too often we allow other people to call themselves our friends or associate with us, and we share information that we should not be sharing. That's why I tell people, and really since I've been, you guys know Angelique and Melissa always come on the show. Angelique talks about her life coach. Melissa is very open about her therapy sessions, and both of them express how beneficial it is to them. So having somebody like that, can be very beneficial to you, to where you can actually look at a situation and say, I think I need to do this. I think I need to really have somebody who's not attached to the situation on the outside be able to help give advice about that situation or what I'm going through. And most of all, somebody that's not going to disclose it. Now, you may have a friend. If you have a friend, that's rare. But if you got a friend that you know that you can actually open up to and share about what's going on in your life, that alone is a plus right there. And you know that what you tell that person, they're going to give you honest information, honest feedback, and they're not going to throw it back in your face. They're not going to try to tell it to anybody else. When you give them that information, it gets locked in the vault. And that's how I am. When somebody tells me something and I know it's a friend tells me something, it goes into that vault and it gets locked. And they're the only person that when I'm in conversation, that when that subject comes up, that the vault is open. Other than that, the vault stays closed. Mainly because I don't keep a lot of stuff in my vault like that, because I don't deal with a lot of people like that. But when I get that information, it stays in my vault. And only me and that person will ever have a conversation about what's in that vault. And you have to find a friend like that. You have to find people in your life that are like that, that's not going to use it against you, not going to make you feel less than, or not going to judge you. They're not going to run and try to tell somebody else. Or sometimes people, even when they want to break up your relationship or cause problems in your relationship, one thing that they will do is try to use your own information against you. So the things you go back and tell them, or the things you share with them, they're going to make sure it gets back to that person in your life because they want to cause friction. They want to cause conflict. And the whole time they will be in your face, smiling in your face, telling you how much they care. Oh, be strong. I got your back. If you need somebody to talk to, come talk to me. That's why I said, be careful who you trust and who you talk to. And because let me tell you something, what I always do, when anybody say they want to be friends, I put out a test bug. I really do. I send a test driver out there. I tell them something just to see if it comes back to me. And you'll be surprised how often it does. And it can be the smallest detail. And normally what I do is I center that around somebody they know. That's what I would do. I would center that conversation around somebody. It ain't got to be nothing negative. I'll make it clear to her, hey, this is just between me and you. I feel like that person has a really good voice. They could be a singer, but, I don't want to feel like I'm pushing something on nobody. So don't say that. Don't say that I said that. And you'll be surprised how quick that comes back around to you. Man, you saying I want to be a singer, dog? That's cool, bro. Yeah, you ain't got to be trying to hide that, man. I respect that. See, number one, it tells me, that, you know what? That's cool. You approach me about it. Cool. Hey, no problem. Ain't got no beef with you. But the person I told that to, who went back and delivered that after I told them not to say nothing, that tells me not to trust their ass. And you have to send a test driver out there. Send a test driver so you know who you're dealing with, even with your mates. And as people who get into relationships, you need to understand something. If ever you feel like your mate is not sharing information with you, don't get upset and don't start dragging them down. Let them know, like, hey, I just realized that we don't talk anymore. Did I reveal something I shouldn't have? If I did, let's talk about it. Let's figure out what we can do to fix it, because that was not my intention. Because sometimes people do talk, but they don't think it's a big secret to them, but to you, it's like that should have been confidential information. So you have to be upfront with each other and let each other know. I hate playing mind games and guessing games. My thing is, if you feel like this, tell me. If you think like this, tell me. If you like me, tell me you like me. If you want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, tell me. Don't have me out here trying to play this whole guessing game. And, if the chase is on and I'm chasing you, say, hey, listen, not interested like that. And it should go both ways with men and women. With general conversation, friendships, I want to be your friend, I don't want to be your friend. Be honest, be transparent. It'll save a lot of drama and heartache in the end. If that person walks away, then you know what? Let them walk, because they was not down for you in the first place. They just wanted something. Hey, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with the final thoughts of today's show.
Free your mind, free your voice right here on Simply Straight Talk.
Hey, are you looking for some great music, upbeat and with a positive voice? Well, the song I Stand With You is exactly what you need. This timeless song has a pop version sung by Audrey Carmel. And a reggae version sung by General Steele, now known as Revelation.
Now I know some days you may feel blue, Lord. Trust in your greatness to see you through.
These songs are now available on iTunes and other digital platforms for download. Don't miss out. Get your copy today.
Give life your best, and I know.
Are you ready for the straight truth? Reggie, what's the final word for today?
Hey, what's up, everybody? And thank you for tuning in to the final thoughts of today's show. Today, we're talking about pillow talk gone wrong. Love makes us do some things because not only is it just the emotional feeling we have for that person, we want to please with that person, we want to share that person, but ultimately, love makes you want to have a special connection with someone that you don't have with anyone else. It wants you to have a bond that's different than any other relationship you have with anybody else in your life. That's what love does. And that's why when most people, when they feel themselves falling in love, they begin to expose more of themselves. They begin to share more about their world, their environment, the things that's around them. And when they do that, it's opening up a door of trust that you feel like this person is going to embrace and understand. Now, the two of you may love each other. The two of you may have the best of feelings for each other, but you still have to step out and have that conversation with each other to clarify when you guys are engaged in pillow talk, what you share, what you don't share. You need to have an understanding that, yes, this person may be your best friend. I am your husband. I am your wife. And I think this is an our thing. Even if you got a code word to use, like this is Pillow Talk Confidential. Okay. So now when you say this is Pillow Talk Confidential, then you know that it doesn't leave the bed. You lock it in each other's vaults and you only share that with each other. And be careful, because some people, when they get angry, that vault swings open. Every combination and door chamber unlocks and stuff is flying out. So just be mindful about that and just be open to understand that when you communicate, that there may be times, even when you're having pillow talk, that you know something about your mate's friend, you know something about somebody else's friend, you may be introduced to somebody that your mate has told you about, but that information is for you and your mate. It is not to be shared unless the two of you have agreed upon that it is open for disclosure to other people. If it's not, be careful about what you share, because it's going to bring problems back into your relationship. It's going to make you two look like you are the drama kings and queens, or the drama queen or the drama king, because if people start to realize that every time some issues or some problems come up or conflict comes up in the group, you are at the center of it, because it's something you repeated, something you said, then it's going to make people really not want to hang around the two of you, or people not want to hang around you. People may say, you know what, you can come, but leave your man or leave your woman at home. Or don't include them. Just tell them it's this type of thing and they can go do something else. So be careful about that and be mindful about how you communicate and what you communicate outside your relationship. And also keep in mind that sometimes the things that's going on in your relationship shouldn't be publicly disclosed, even if it's around friends or groups, because it can complicate things. Because people will get a perception of who they think your mate is, and it would never leave. And it would change the way he or she walks into a room, because people are always going to remember that moment. There are people to where one person has maybe cheated, and other people remember, like, you cheated on a good man, you cheated on a good woman. And even though you guys walk in and you're all supposed to be friends, there's still that thought in the back of their head, and you can kind of feel it when they look at you. Maybe you're talking to another woman that's just a waitress and you're just being nice. There's no intentions. Maybe she's talking to a waiter, or maybe a customer service guy is talking to her and they feel like, oh, people just get perceptions. Sometimes it's hard to let go. So be careful what you share. If you do share something, like I said, look into life coaches, look into therapies. Look at a way to find a way you can vent what you're feeling and have confident that information is not getting back. Unless if somebody's being raped, beaten, abused, and stuff like that, yes, we need to speak up. But I'm just talking about general stuff, everyday life stuff. Hey, this was the last show for season 9. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for making this a super, super great season. I really enjoyed it. So, as you know, after each season, we take a little bit of a break, a week or two, then we come back with the show. And so I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank Angelique and Melissa. They are the great voiceover artists who do the intros. They are also the great voiceover artists and real people that have been more active in the show. And I love having them active in the show, so I definitely want to get them more active. And I definitely have to thank the man who does the editing for all of the podcasts, Mr. Z-Lot. You can find him on Fiverr. I will drop his link down below. Let me tell you something. This guy does an amazing job. Quick turnaround. I have been working with him, I guess, maybe for like 2 years now, I want to say. He's been doing the editing on my podcast, make sure it sounds good. So, Z, thank you, man. I appreciate it. That's actually his Fiverr name, so you guys look him up. You need any editing for your podcast, check him out. If you need voiceover artists, Melissa, Angelique, y'all check them out, man. I'll put all that down below. Thank you to everybody who's been a big supporter of this show. I gotta say shout out to my man Tone G Music. You know what I'm saying? The brother always keeps it positive. You can find him on Instagram. I drop him down below too. He makes some great reggae music, man. Always positive vibes. Every morning this brother comes out. You see the fatherly, you see that a real man that's a father. You also see this man is sending positive vibes out every day, positive energy, giving everybody the good word in the morning, man, making you feel good about another day. So shout out to you, Tone G. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you for tuning in. And we will see you in a couple weeks with another episode of the Simply Straight Talk Show.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Straight Talk Show with Reggie Maddox. If you like what you just heard, we hope you'll pass along our podcast to your friends and colleagues. And please leave us a positive review on iTunes. Be sure to check out our archive section on iTunes, Spotify, Libsyn, and YouTube. Join us next time for another edition of the Simply Straight Talk Show.